Howdy hodily, neighbor. Alrighty, I'm back again. This time I'm going to show my flight stick collection. Flight sticks. And here we have, see, 3DO flight stick, PlayStation 1 flight stick, PlayStation 1 flight stick, dual flight stick, PlayStation 2 ozone scraper flight stick, or PlayStation 1, I don't know. PlayStation 2 flight force feedback joystick, Panther Dreamcast flight stick, Nintendo 64 Mad Catz dual arcade stick / flight stick, and the Nitro stick. Now hang on, I'm gonna unbox them and come back and talk about them. Alright, now that everything's unboxed and put up for display, I'm going to start with the first one of my collection. When I bought my 3DO, it came with this, and I've already done a video and talked about a little bit about this, but since then I've learned something. This goes to 3DO, right? Well, it's analog. And as far as I know, I always thought 3DO was digital, you know, just like click, 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 you know, digital, you know, like directional, up, down, left, right, just, you know, no pressure on movement. But anyway, so over time, this thing's just sitting in the closet collecting dust, and I knew it went to Flying Nightmares, a flight simulator game, and I didn't have that, but I was like, So anyway, I looked up online and was like, what is this compatible with? What else is it compatible with? And as it turned out, it's compatible with Need for Speed. But that was later, I found out. It's compatible with first-person shooters, like Killing Time. I was like, how the hell do you use this with a first-person shooter? And it blew my mind when I hooked it up and tried it on a first-person shooter. It is so wonderful. It was so shocking because you control your footsteps like analog. You go slow and you're creeping. Like on Mario 64, you push it a little bit, it goes a little bit. You know, you control your walking with this. And it's awesome. It's awesome. And then you control the camera with this up, down, left, right. And I was like, oh my god. Or you can switch the two around. I was like, wow. And you shoot with the button. I was like, whoa, man. Because, you know, first-person shooters are kind of like you're controlling a tank. You're not controlling a real human. It's like it's tank controls, you know, up, down, left, right, and then you know, you pull trigger like you're controlling a tank. Well, that lit a fire under me, and it was like, wow, I never would have thought using a flight stick for a first-person shooter or even third-person shooter, using it, you know, one-handed. You know, you walk around with this and you shoot with the trigger, you know, and you change the weapons with these, and you know, and up, down, left, right here, you know, you control the camera. It's like, whoa, man, I never would have thought, you know. Or you control the camera with this, and you walk up, down, left, right with that. I mean, either way, that's pretty awesome. It would have been better if both of these was analog. If this was analog and that was analog, because then you would have had analog camera movements too. But yeah, that blew my mind. It opened up doors on that. And I was like, wow, who would have thought using a flight stick for first-person shooters? It's awesome too. So then I learned, I was like, how the hell do you use this thing with Need for Speed? And then I hooked up Need for Speed, and I went into the options menu, and I changed the controller to joystick, and it turned it into this joystick. So essentially what it did was it made it analog steering and analog braking gas. You know how? You go up for gas, back for brake, and left and right. It's like a steering wheel. Like, and you know what it reminded me of? You ever saw Total Recall? You know, Johnny Cab, when he has to control the car with that? That's what this is. It's like that. It's like you're controlling the car. And it was totally awesome. I mean, it was way better than using a controller. Way better. I was like, wow, I never would have imagined. I never thought of it like that. So, yeah, Need for Speed on 3DO has analog steering and analog braking gas if you have this. Isn't that cool? I thought that was mind-blowing. That was just exciting. So this thing here opened up a whole bunch of doors for me. It showed me that you can use a flight stick for first-person shooters, which is awesome. And it showed me that Need for Speed had analog steering. Alright. So then it started a kick for me. So I was like, well, shoot, I got a lot of flying games I want to I want to get flight sticks for. So anyway, so I got Warhawk and Ace Combat and not Ace Combat, yeah, Ace Combat, and what was it? Air Force Delta, and a few other flying games. So I thought I'd get the PlayStation flight sticks because I know with adapters I can use my PlayStation flight sticks on all my other stuff, you know, for first-person shooters or for racing games or whatever else. I can use these on them. But most importantly was the mech games like mech assault on Xbox and stuff like that. So I bought this. It was like $40, and it's only digital. It don't have analog, and it's the most generic one I got. But I guess this would be perfect for, like, say, Galaga or something like that, like old school shit. This would be perfect for that. So I bought that. Most recently, here's the most recent pickups. I bought this, and that. I haven't shown any of these. You've already seen these if you've watched my other videos, but I'm going to talk about all of them. So I saw this bad boy, and I bid on it and lost, and it's super rare, and it's dual analog flight stick, so you can control the camera and, you know, some stuff with that, and you can control the walking with this, and it's just totally awesome. And the first thing came to my mind when I saw this was Mech Assault on Xbox. I was like, that'd be awesome to use it on Xbox. Ooh, that'd be badass, man, because you control the freaking top part of the mech with this, and you control the bottom walking and stuff with this, and, you know, and I got it home and I tried it out and it worked and I was so amazed. But guess what? There's one flaw. It don't have an L3 or R3 button. So you, for example, you can't. It won't. Like in Mech Assault, you use R3 to jetpack to propel you off the ground. So, but this is great for those walking around mechs. You just can't use your camouflage, which is R3. If you push R3, this don't have R3 or L3. It only has L2, R1, R2, L1. But yeah. But I'll tell you what I did use this for, which is cool, was Warhawk. And after all these years, I never would have thought, but Warhawk is only digital. It don't have analog steering or nothing. But this works great with Warhawk. I can use it with Warhawk. I got adapted to it, but yeah, it's pretty neat. But then this is my best PS2 and this is my best flight stick for PlayStation. It's called the Ozone Scraper, and it has turbo and stuff like that. It's really cool. It's really effective. This is the one I use for, like, say I want to use it on first-person shooters. Like I use this on Doom. Ultimate Doom and Final Doom. I use this on that. That's really cool. That's awesome. So then I got into PS2. I was like, oh, I wonder what the advancements of PS2, what the best flight stick for PS2 is. And the only one I can find is this one. And it's the Logitech Air Force Delta Strike joystick. And yeah. Well, let me tell you about it. How far is it advanced? This has force feedback, so it actually has force of winds and stuff like that. Like you can feel the wind on your airplane and stuff. But nothing this offers that none of these other ones offer is yaw, which yaw is like if you're playing with a expert mode and stuff. Usually L2 and R2 will yaw to make your plane like yaw left or yaw right. Well, this one, instead of pressing L2 or R2, you just turn it. You turn it and it'll yaw. Well, yaw mean like lean left or lean right. Or in a first-person shooter, you turn it left or you turn it right to strafe left or strafe right. That's pretty cool. And this also has analog, what is it? Gas and brake. What they call it in airplane games is thrust and afterburner or whatever. But yeah, and it's got all these buttons here, and it's got a trigger here, of course. But the best part about this is, well, it has a downfall and it has a plus. The downfall is it only works for what one PS2 game, Air Force Delta Strike. It don't work with nothing else. Like I tried it on you know, first-person shooters or try on anything. It don't, if the game ain't programmed to use with this, it won't work. But it does come with a USB, and I hooked it up to the computer, downloaded the Logitech drivers for flight sticks, and sure enough, this sucker works on PC games. And so far, I've used it on Tom Clancy's Hawks, and it was awesome. I played that game, I beat the crap out of stuff, man. I was playing it in 3D, flying around, and it was awesome. So this has proved its worth, and I'm really glad I own it. Just like all these here. And we'll save the best for last, that one over there. So then I was like, well, I got a bunch of Nintendo 64 games that are flying games. There's Star Fox, you know, Air Assault or whatever, and some other stuff. But anyway, first-person shooters like Doom, 64, Turok, you know, all those. I wanted a flight stick for that. And the best flight sticks that I could find, only flight sticks I could find, were these two. And so far, this one's my favorite. This one is such a favorite of mine that I actually use this one on PC with my PC Nintendo 64 PC adapter, and I use this for, you know, first-person shooters and stuff on Nintendo 60 on PC. Like I can use this on say first-person shooters like Battlefield 3 or, you know, any of those, and it's just way awesome. I mean, you control, you're walking up, down, left, and right with my left hand right here. I control up, down, left, right with that, and I got my weapons programmed over here, and strafe left and right with this, you know, up, down, maybe a grenade or something. And then with my right hand over here, I got my my gun, my camera. It's called the what is it? No Vent Falcon. And I'm shooting with that. So this right here, but mainly what I bought this for at first, I didn't even think to use it on PC, but this convinced me to use stuff for first-person shooters and stuff. But I bought this mainly for Star Fox and Air Fighters Assault, you know, the Nintendo 64 flying games, you know, like Nuclear Strike and stuff like that. I bought that for that. But so this thing here opened up so many doors. I'm not using that for first-person shooters, and, you know, you name it, you know, you can use it for that, because with X-Patter and what was it, Joy's Key, you can remap your buttons and stuff like that. So I'll take all my keyboard buttons or use a Xbox 360 controller emulator, and I put the buttons on here and use this sucker for all the good stuff for my left hand. And then, you know, for example, let's say I have the Logitech G13 keyboard, gaming keyboard. Scratch that. I don't use that no more. I use this instead for my left hand. If you see my PC gaming video, you see my Logitech G13 keyboard over here. It's got that one little analog knobby. Well, forget that. I use this now. I use this for my left hand, and then on my right hand for. Let's talk Grand Theft Auto 4 here, or any Grand Theft Auto Mafia, anything. Use this to walk around with and shoot, boom, or not shoot, but walk around with and switch weapons and run and stuff like that. But then the right hand, use No Vent Falcon to shoot and aim and stuff like that. But in the middle, I got my steering wheel and I got my gas pedal and all that stuff, all reclined back in my recliner. So I mean, only on the PC can you use all this stuff like that. I mean, you got one hand with the running and gunning, and then on the right hand you got for aiming and shooting. And in the middle, you got your steering wheel, you know. And that's the best way to get analog steering and analog shooting and all that shit all in one. It's only on PC, and nothing else can do that. But, yeah. This also has a memory card and Rumble Pack support, which I don't think the Rumble support works on PC with the emulator or anything like that. But it does work on a Nintendo 64, and it's pretty cool. Imagine playing Cruising USA with this thing, you know, steering with that and stuff. But you know, for racing games, you know, you really want to use steering wheel and stuff. But since there ain't no steering wheel for a 3DO, so this is the next best thing. But it's awesome. It's like Johnny Cab, you know. So then I bought this, you know, and I was wondering if there's any better. So I bought this when I was going through my arcade stick kick. I was wanting arcade sticks, and it came with a arcade, you know, it's an arcade stick, and it has slow motion, turbo, and all that stuff. And but this here's pretty badass. I mean, the first game I played this on was Star Fox. I really enjoy it. I really like it. I like both of these. I like them both. Can't say I don't. But guess what? With my adapter to my PC, this one don't work. That one does. That one works with PC, but this one don't. For some reason, I don't know. Mad Catz just gets all funky. Won't work with it. But like I said in my arcade sticks video, these buttons are hard as hell to push. I mean, you don't sound like it. Like I push it, it's responsive when you push it. But guess what? It ain't doing nothing unless you push real hard. Like you have to push real hard for it to register the button. So, I mean, this is ideal for flying games, you know, stuff like that. But if you're wanting to use it for a fighting game, you have to really hit the button to get it to respond, and I don't know what to do about it. I mean, I'd like to fix it. It'd be a great arcade stick, I mean, because it does have the Sandwall digital. It's a real good joystick, but the buttons, you have to push some of them so hard, and I don't know if it's because they're so old, and maybe they didn't have no use to them, but, man, you have to push them way too hard to get them to respond. So this is great for a flight stick, but I wouldn't recommend it for an arcade stick. If you want an arcade stick, man, you better get that Nintendo 64 adapter, GameCube Nintendo 64 adapter, and a Hori Soul Calibur 2 arcade stick, or a MAS arcade stick for Nintendo 64. Because when it comes to Nintendo 64 arcade sticks, I wouldn't recommend this one. But it's great for a flight stick. I recommend it, Mad Catz for flight sticks. Great flight sticks. All right, now this is going to be shocking, folks. I never would have thought. Just like how this adapts to first-person shooters, that's what this Dreamcast one does. Let me move all this stuff out of the way. I'm going to talk about this. This blew my mind, man. Blew my freaking mind. Okay. This is called the Panther Dreamcast arcade stick, I want to call it. I don't know. But get this. It goes to Quake 3 Arena, Kiss, Psycho Circus, and Star Lancer. What do all those have in common? They're first-person shooters. You're like, what the hell? A flight stick on a first-person shooter? You never would have thought, right? Well, guess what? These are all PC games that were ported over to the Dreamcast. So what this thing essentially does is, not only does it WASD walking movements, but it maps mouse controls to this trackball. So you got a mouse now. And what's the mouse used for? Aiming your gun. You aim your gun and you shoot with this thing. And it blew my mind. I was like, whoa, you know, who would have thought? Using a flight stick for a first-person shooter. I actually just bought this for, you know, my favorite airplane game, Air Force Delta, or Air Wing Zelda, or whatever the hell it is, for Dreamcast, my favorite flying game. And, yeah, it works for that. It works perfectly, you know, it's awesome. You know, you're finally controlling the freaking weapon, the game with a flight stick. You know, sure I could use these on there, but I wanted the official Dreamcast arcade stick. I mean, flight stick. And you control your gas with this. And this lights up real blue. It glows blue when you got it plugged in. It's real pretty. Has a memory card and rumble support. And has a start button here. But I have one problem with this. It's not really a problem because the button is also somewhere else. But this button right here. I bought this thing. It's supposed to be brand new. Just like this was brand new. You have to push the button really, really hard for it to work. And this one here, it's opposite. You have to push it to work, but the spring in it has no springy, so it's stuck. It gets stuck. You can't use that button right there. It just gets stuck in there. But luckily, that button is mapped somewhere over here anyway, so you don't ever have to push that button. That's like L, and here's L over here, so you don't have to use that. You use one of these anyway. But this has also alternate modes. So you switch down here. It'll change, say, digital to analog, and switch like that, and it'll switch this on or off. The downfall I have with this arcade stick here, I mean flight stick, is that it only works with certain games. It don't work with all games. Like and I'm gonna tell you right now, Soldier of Fortune, that you'd think it would work with it, but it's unplayable with it because you control the camera with the digital shit, and you walk with the up and down, left and right. You would think that you control the camera with the mouse, but it won't let you. But yeah, Quake 3 Arena and Kiss and all those games that make use of this trackball for the mouse, superior aiming. And you know, I used to be a naysayer. You know, I used to be like, I'm open-minded now. I mean, I'll go with the flow, you know. I'm not hard headed, you know. Like I listen to reason, and I used to be one of those naysayers that thought, you know, PC gaming sucked because I was raised on using a controller. You know what I mean? And everybody knows anything about PC is like keyboard and mouse, and I was against it. I didn't never have an open mind to it because I couldn't wrap my head around using WASD as up, down, left, and right when I'm used to analog, creeping up slow and going slow and moving. You know, I always thought that would be best, right? Why would you care about keyboard? But what people don't get is the mouse that's the keyboard has so many buttons. That's why people like it, because it has more buttons than conventional controller. And what really it's not the keyboard that everybody's talking about. It's the mouse. Keyboard and mouse is why PC gaming is better for first-person shooters, because the mouse is so fast. You're like spot on everywhere you aim, spot on. Compared to analog, it's slow and clunky, and you know. But when you're aiming with the mouse or trackball, you're like boom, 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 boom. You're just like right there. Hand-eye coordination is 1-to-1. You know what I mean? So that's why PC gaming. That's why everybody for PCs say that PC gaming's better. It's because the mouse, like they've done tests. People. Pro gamers with controllers against pro gamers with PC and keyboard and mouse people and first person shooters, and the keyboard and mouse guys destroyed the controller guys because you got 1-to-1 movement with the mouse, and the analog, I mean, it's slow and sluggish compared to, you know, like with the flick of a wrist. You know, you get a flick of a wrist here, you know, as fast as you move that, as fast as the mouse pointer goes, but with the analog, it just slowly, you know, it's not as fast as that. But since then, I like the best of both worlds. I like having analog walking, and I like having mouse but I don't use mouse. I like the Novent Falcon. The Novent Falcon to me is it's the evolution of the mouse, because it not only has force feedback, but it's just way better. I don't know how to describe it. I did a review of it kind of in my PC gaming video. You have to go check that out. But there's my flight sticks. And what else can I top it off with? You want to control a mech, you want a flight stick. You want to control a first-person shooter. First-person shooters to me is nothing but tank controls anyway. So if you're controlling a tank, why not do it with a flight stick? You got a trigger, you're shooting, it's a gun. You can controlling jets, you want to do it with a flight stick. I mean, and with that, all I gotta say is keep on gaming and go get you some flight sticks. Thanks for watching. See you later.